Well, Thursday is 75 years since the Nanjing Massacre. Japanese troops killed 300,000 people, what was then the national capital. Its history and story was hardly known to the Western world before a Chinese-American writer and historian published a book about it 15 years ago. Iris Chang's book is called The Rape of Nanking. It illustrated the way in which the world can forget entire periods of history, no matter how many people are victims. Iris Chang herself committed suicide 7 years after her book was published, but her legacy lives on. CCTV correspondent YING-YING has this story from Washington.
A journalist, a historian, and a best-selling author. Iris Chang was one of the most prominent Chinese-American authors of her time. Yet on a fateful day in November 2004, Chang shot herself dead with a handgun.
We can't believe she would do this.
In early days after she passed away, YING-YING and I could hardly live on. We were so sad.
A native of New Jersey, Chang was born into a family of Chinese immigrants. After studying journalism in college, Chang started as a reporter for the Associated Press and later New York Times. But it was in writing where Chang found her true passion. After a number of books documenting the experiences of Chinese Americans, Chang in 1997 wrote her most famous book to date, The Rape of Nanking. It was the height of World War II, when the Japanese troops invaded the city of the eastern Chinese city, systematically raping, torturing, and killing more than 300,000 Chinese civilians. The book tells the story of the Japanese soldiers who did it, of the Chinese civilians who endured it, and of a group of Americans who refused to abandon the city and stayed to save lives. Among them was a lady named Minnie Vautrin.
She took over as master of the Jinling Girls' College, established the safety zone in downtown of Nanjing. She saved the lives of more than 200,000 Chinese civilians. She later found the offsprings of John Rape in Berlin and found Rape's diaries. How the Japanese tortured Chinese, she described it as the hell. They have very detailed descriptions.
The Rape of Nanking brought global attention, was believed to be a forgotten Holocaust of World War II. Chang's book and accounts like that lends new perspectives to many historians who now believe what the Japanese did in Nanjing was comparable to what Nazi Germany did to the Jews in Europe. In 2007, a documentary was dedicated to Chang by two-time Oscar-winning director Bill Guttentag.
When Iris Chang's book came out, hundreds of thousands of people bought that book, and they read it, and they learned about it, and they learned about the power of it, they learned about the tragedy, and they learned about the heroism of both the foreigners and the Chinese, and they learned, that about this important world event. And I think all of us owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to Iris Chang.
Last year, Chang's mother published her own book in memory of her daughter. The book was called The Woman Who Could Not Forget.
The power of one, people will say, how can one person make differences? She believes in the power of one. Thus, she says one person can start a war or subvert an entire power structure. Do not limit your vision and do not ever compromise your dreams or ideals. This is very moving. Every time I will read about this part.
YING-YING, CCTV, America.